Well, are you ready to paint the cabin in the snow? I sure am ready. So let's just go ahead and get started. You're watching Painting with Yovette. I'm going to show the colors of the painting that we're going to be doing today. And the undercoating is in black, white, and gray gesso. And today we're going to be putting the color on. For my brushes, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to tell you what size they are because these are miniature brushes, and miniature by meaning very tiny, and they are very small. Like this is a little 1/4 inch. You know, I showed you this before. I don't know if you remember or not, but you know, when somebody says a 3/8 inch brush or a 1/4 inch brush, I don't know how to convert that in like 10, 12, or 8 sizes. But if it's a brush and you want to measure the width, you just put your brush against a ruler, and this one is a 1/4 inch wide. So if somebody says a 1/4 inch brush, that's what you'd be using. Well, to start out with, I love a very smooth canvas, and so that's what I'm using. I'm actually using what this is called Masterpiece. This is a triple prime canvas. It's a 3x5. This is just a wonderful premium canvas. It's smooth. It's just excellent made. I love this one. So that's what this original painting has been on. And then to go over the painting, then just go ahead and use like walnut oil or linseed oil or any kind of a clear oil medium that you can find, but not cooking oil. That's a totally different thing than painting oil. So anyway, here's my picture. What I'm going to do is put some oil on a paper towel. This is a shop towel. I love these because they don't leave lint. And I'm going to lightly go over my canvas like so. Just make sure that you have oil slick all over the top so that there is no dull spots. It'll all look shiny if you hold it up to the light. So I thought we'd just have kind of, just light colors, nothing real drastic today. I'm going to start out with my 3/4 inch flat brush, and that's pretty much dry. I'm going to go into a little alizarin crimson, not very much at all. And I'm going to what I do is when I go into that, since this has oil and it's clear, I'm going to just blot that paper towel and then go into the lower part of the sky here. And now, do you know what a vignette is? A vignette is when the color just sort of fades away on the sides. So your color is more concentrated right in the center. And I thought it would be fun to do a vignette today. So I want that just a little deeper in color. And let's just go up higher. I'm going into the trees a little bit, but I'm letting it fade off the edges. I'm lightening my touch. That's how I get that lighter look on the edges. And a little more, because I want to go also down into the water now. And don't worry about going over your trees or the cabin or anything. Just go ahead and get this color in here. And then I want to blot my brush, or just take a paper towel and just wipe it off. Just get most of the paint off. And then I want to go into Phthalo blue. Now this is super strong. Phthalo blue is the strongest color, I think, of all the paints. So I am going to blot it on a paper towel first, and then I'm going to start up at the top. Isn't that a beautiful color? Oh my gosh, I love Phthalo blue. Probably one of my favorite colors. Okay, lighten your touch as you come to the top. Blend it into your pink, your crimson, alizarin crimson, and keep coming down because it'll kind of turn a purplish color. The two blend very beautifully together. A little touch more and go into the water here. So yeah, this is a beautiful start, isn't it? Okay, I like that. And then I'm just wipe that brush, squeeze that paint out. I'm not going to change the color or anything. Next I want to go into, well, I'll tell you what, first I want to just blend this out on the edges a little bit here. Because I want this vignette look, so I want this, and I know I should be wearing a glove for this part. However, I'm not. So I've got this really well wiped out, and I think I'll just go like this. There. That sort of took care of it. And I can even go like this. Yes, that worked out perfect. Okay. Next I want to go into some sap green. Little bit of sap green and a little bit of burnt sienna. If you don't have burnt sienna, raw sienna, dark sienna, any of the siennas will work. Sienna just means it has a little bit of red in there. So now I want to go into the trees. Too much brown. I want a little more green. Good. Okay, I'm just wiggling this in along the center line. And we're going to just tap and go right over that black and white that we did originally. A little more. And that should be good right there. Oops, didn't want to do that. I didn't want that green there. Accidents happen, but that's okay. I'm not worried about it. Okay, again, reloading my brush. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Just kind of go down my middle line. See, we're just putting in just a light bit of color now. And I'm starting from the furthest area, which would be the sky and then the water. Now we're doing the trees. These are fun to do. I really like these. Okay, now I do want to clean my brush in thinner, or you can do baby oil if you want. Make sure if you use the baby oil that you get it really well wiped out. In this case, I am using a thinner. And I'm going to start doing this snow now. And I think I'm going to just do a kind of a purplish color. So a little crimson and a little blue. And a lot more crimson than blue because, because the blue is so strong. And just find a color that you like, a lavender color that you like. And again, I'm going to just sort of wipe off the excess. And I'm going to start back here in the snow and just bring it into the trees. I'm going to keep going with the snow here. This doesn't take very much, I tell you. I just use the tiniest little dab of paint. I'm not kidding, I mean really just the tiniest little dab. And it will just go a very, very long ways. Okay, now this background snow. Now this would be a kind of a deeper color here. I'm just going to go right over these trees. It won't make any difference. Right over the path. And right on down to this lower part here. Just kind of wipe that off. Okay. And then I want to go into some pure white. Make sure that you blot that brush, get the most of the paint out that you can. Now I'm going into pure white, titanium white. Boy, this, I tell you, every time I open a tube of white, every tube is different. Some of them are so runny and oily and just yucky, and some of them are just thick, and this one happens to be so thick. But where my light, my original light would be, was right in here. So when it comes down, it would hit this area here. So I'm going to lighten that. Wipe, because you're picking up other stuff. And let's go into this here. And I want just to wipe a little bit. Pick up a little more white. I want to hit this corner back here and just sort of blend that in a little bit. Okay, that's looking good. And now let's do that little cabin. So for that, now this is in my miniature brush, and this is a little 1/4 inch, but like I say, if you're doing a different size canvas, you'll be using a different size brush also. But let's go into brown, sienna, and I'm going to do very dark back here. Okay, and I want to add a little bit of white to that. For the front of the cabin, because it would be lighter. There would be light hitting on the front here. I was debating on what color of roof I wanted. I thought about blue and I thought about red. I just don't know what color of roof I want. Maybe I'll do rust. Rust would be kind of pretty. And also I told you, maybe you'd like to do like a cabin, a log cabin, which would be easy to do. Take some dark sienna and let's just go across. Picking up too much light color. Go back into the dark. Okay. And I want to scoop that down there. All right. A little bit of black, because if your cabin is here, it would have dark here. And some more brown here with white. And that would be this side here. And wipe. That did not turn out well right there. Let's redefine that. I hope your cabin is better than this one. I need to make these little logs here just a little bit stronger. Okay. Again, a dark brown mixed with a little black. And that would be our door. You can make this as simple or as complicated as you want. And then also some of this brown, because this would be in shadow. If my light is here, it would be coming down, and across the snow, this would be in shadow. Yeah, that works out good. Okay, and also these little logs would be here. There, good enough. Okay, now I want to highlight that snow even more because it is definitely not white enough. So into my brush again, highlight right there, good. Highlight here. And just a slight bit back here. You know, this would make a great Christmas card. You guys could do this not only on a canvas as a gift, but you could also do it on greeting card, you know, cardstock. That would make just a darling gift. Okay, let's go into a little bit of brown here for the pathway. And lighten your touch as you come out because you want to get lighter, 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 lighter. Yeah, that's good. Okay, now I want to, I have this what I call old scrubby one, and it's one I use for floral. And because it's so old and scrubby, it makes a great foliage brush because it's all, you know, when you go in and you twist it like that, it just it messes the bristles up really good, and so it makes great foliage. So let's go into a little brown with this, a little green, and just I'm tapping. I just want to get the underbrush here of these little trees, or not trees, bushes, I'm sorry, and a little brown and green. And let's do the same thing over here, little bushes. Good. And let's see, I also wanted to darken the green on this just ever so slightly. And darken the green on this one. Because these two trees, these two would be just kind of a little bit closer. And so it's good to vary the colors. And I think we'll put a tree trunk in there too. Let's go ahead with brown on one side, white on the other, and this is my little angle brush, flat brush. But let's just go ahead and very, very, very lightly just suggest like there's some trunks here. Let's do that over again. Brown on one side, white on the other. Okay, leave that like so. Now back to this foliage brush. I'm going to clean it in thinner. I don't want the dark color on there. Squeeze. I see I got a little hair there. I got it. Now I want to go into a slight bit of green. And let's see, let's do, maybe, do I want green? How about white? Let's see what that does. That's kind of pretty. I'm just taking a very, very pastel white and green, and I'm mushing my brush. Mushing. Okay, let's highlight. And I don't want very much there. Wiping off, go into a touch of green again. Some more white. And let's just see how that's all just mushed up. I think you can see that. So we'll just hit along the edges here. That's good. Okay, I love that. I want to do that cabin. Oh, before I do that, yes, I did want to touch up those trees in the background. These back here, I did want to have just a slight bit of green on those. And so just a suggestion so it's not all pink. I'm just lightly bringing that up. See how that changes it? There. Now it looks more like distant trees. Okay. The other thing I wanted to do now is the roof. Oh, I just don't know what I want to do. So I'm telling you what, we're going to do, how about black, or excuse me, brown and a little red. Just kind of a rust color. Let's try that. Oh, that's not bad at all. I kind of like that. That definitely is a rust color. Let's add a little white to that. Kind of blending that in. A little more rust color, a little more brown down in this corner. This would be your darkest corner. Yes, that's good. And you can make like a few little marks here, like there's maybe shingles. And a little bit on this chimney here. Now I told you we were going to make smoke, but I'm going to wait until that dries. Once that dries, I'll take white or a light, very, very light gray, and just sort of swirl it up in the air, indicating that there's a little smoke and a little movement. Okay, what else? Oh yeah, I want to do a little bit on cleaning up these edges here. This would be black. And we'd have a little bit over here. That got too thick. There'd be a little bit here, kind of a divider. You would have darkness under the roof here and under here. clean that brush. And a slight bit of blue and white. And a little bit in the windows here. A little black. Just to mute the color some. A little brown and red for this little roof. And outline your windows, and I think that'll probably be it. Okay, I stood back and I looked at my painting for a little bit, and there is definitely some things I want to change in here. So, I want to add some things and change some things. So the first one being, I want to correct this little snow part here, this little mound. So I'm just going into some white. I'm going to deepen this right here. I want this to be brighter. And this right here, let's do it this way. There. That'll stand out just a slight bit more. And a little bit of white here. And let's go back into this area. There. Okay, that's good for that. And I wanted to darken, just darken a little bit. Let's see if I can do this without massacring it. Darken this just a hair. Just to separate those two. That's much better. Okay. And also I wanted to add just a slight bit of white to this roof line here, because this would be a little bit lighter up at the top. Not a whole bunch, just a little bit. And I wanted, let's see what, oh yes, the mound. There also would be a bit of snow in front of this area here. See, this would be in shadow, but you would still have a snow mound in front on the other side of the path here. So we'll just go ahead and just put that in. Okay. I also wanted to add just a couple of little tree branches, and for that I need my liner brush. Go into thinner, go into some brown, and see, I'm making this very, very, very thin, just watery like, very watery. Maybe I'll even add a touch of green to it. Yeah, that's better. And I thought, you know, it'd be kind of neat to have some, just trees back here. Okay. Just let that fade in. And there might be a couple of twigs back here. Okay, and maybe there was one here. These are just dead trees, you know, it's winter. So there wouldn't be any leaves or anything on it. There. And that just adds just a tiny, tiny little bit. Okay, I like that. That's fine. Let's see, is there anything else? I think that's probably about it. One last thing you could do if you wanted to make those very, very distant trees, the ones way back here, if you wanted to make those, just show up just a little bit more. Go into some brown and green. And only a few of them, not a whole bunch. Let's pick one right here. Whoops, not enough paint, sorry. And we don't want this too bright. Let's just go right in here and just kind of tickle it, just enough to make it look like, oh yeah, there is a tree there. That is just maybe a little bit closer than the others. Or maybe it's just a little bit larger. See, well, that's cool. I like that. Might be one here. And there might be one over here. And that's it. That just kind of breaks it up some. Well, being the crazy woman that I am, I just could not resist. What I did with that last painting, the one I just finished, I wiped the whole thing totally off with odorless thinner, and then I redid the whole painting yet again. So this is the third painting on this one piece of canvas here. And this time I added snow, a little more snow, variation of color. I added yellow to the windows instead of the blue, and I kind of like that. It turned out kind of cute. And so this is a painting you can do over and over so many times. If you don't like something, just wipe it out and do it over again. So be sure and share this with your friends. If you know a left-hander who might enjoy painting this, I would love to share it with them. And thank you for all your support and your subscribing and sharing my videos. I love you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.